Okay. Now, how did you then end up in Baptist?
Oh, that one is when I was teaching in different places and I was renting the house inside the compound. It is now that I know the story. At that time, I don't know it. Reverend Kichinga was on sabbatical and he was studying at Negest. And at that time, Nairobi Baptist was looking a pastor for outreach. And they do it differently in different times. I think at that time, they might have done it like head hunting, something like that. They were told each one look for someone and inform the committee. So Pastor Kichinga, he asked a lecturer at Negest, we are looking for a pastor for outreach. Do you recommend someone? At the beginning, he told the lecturer, told me, we are not supposed to recommend any student because students come with a plan of the mother church, so we should not divert them. So I said, no, I don't know anyone, I told him. But then, when he reflected again, he remembered me. So when he met Pastor Kichinga again, he said, he asked him, what nationality do you want? He asked him. Pastor Kichinga told him, any nationality. Then he came to me and he told me, Nairobi Baptist, they are looking for someone in the outreach. Should I give them your name? And at that time, I have been laid over from my school also. The school had told me that from January, you are not going to join us. We have restructured the organization in such a way, the school will continue, the students are there, but no place for me. I was very sad because that school, I went for 1 year just by asking lift from Karen. And I reach on time, I do my work as much as possible. So they told me in January you don't have a place. And this one is also in January that Dr. Alemayo, he tells me. So I told him, okay, we'll pray about it, tell them. That's how it started. So then came the letter, they told me, submit a letter from Dr. Alemayo and Dr. Ingewa because they have heard the story about me. And then my documents, and I had to submit them. I submitted them. At that time, Reverend Sharamba was acting. So I submitted my documents, and I know the way the Baptist does them, it is a committee that deals with them. There was a special committee from the youth, from the women, from the elders like that. So I met them one time, and they will tell me, you know, we have not put a notice, you have not applied, we are just doing fellowship. Then they said, my wife also must come. Then they did several, it took us three months, I think, to do that. And afterwards, I think was in April, there was a general meeting, and we were presented to them. They were told, this is the person that we have found for outreach. I have never done interviews or anything like that, but we were presented there to see what God will do. And they tell you go outside for a few minutes, and then they called us back, and they told us, we have accepted you. And I remember 2 questions, I think some of the members, they asked me. One was, how did you come to know about this position here? I told them, it is you who came to my place. Me, I did not come and I did not know. I have never attended Nairobi Baptist Church. I have never attended even any other Kenyan church before that. So maybe we might have attended, I don't know, Karen community maybe, but not before. So I told them, you came to me, I did not come. Then another one asked me, what is your plan for the outreach ministry of Nairobi Baptist Church? Wow. For me, the word outreach even was new. I knew the word mission, but this was new outreach. And I told him, together we will do God's work, I told him. And I'm happy. The person accepted it as a good answer. And together, those 10 years in Gong Road and 4 years in Rongai, we did God's work together. So that's how I came in.
How was the experience the first days in Nairobi Baptist Ngong Road?
Oh, the first days they were very lonely. You know, they have different departments, which I don't know them. So everyone is focused on his department. So that is pastor for youth, pastor for worship, me and the pastor for outreach. And they gave me the office of Pastor Shiramba because Pastor Shiramba was in Pastor Kichinga's office. Pastor Shiramba was the children's office, is a big office. So they gave me that big office, and I started to read documents of the Board of Outreach, try to find out what this outreach is. I started to read my job description, which they have given me. And the only keyword was to spearhead the outreach ministry of Nairobi Baptist Church. So I said, this word spearhead, it must have some secret on what I must do. And I tried to read them, tried to understand them. And tea was served in the office at that time. So from morning to evening, no one can come to your office. So I was very lonely. And but few members, which I remember, Grace Ojiambo came to visit me during my first days, and she tried to find out my name. A few questions which I don't remember, but me also I asked her name. She told me, Grace Ojiambo. At that time, I must write the names very quickly because I can't remember them. So the Grace was not difficult. I wrote it Grace. But the Ojamba, the spelling was wrong. So she told me come, and she wrote me properly. And so it was very lonely. But I had two people in my board. But Elizabeth Mangeli, she's the social worker, very busy the whole day. People coming, going like that. Benta was secretary to help me and another pastor. You know, two boards, they can have one secretary. And Ondache was organizing the prayers. They were held on Tuesdays. So we could have a meeting between me, Liz, and Ondache. But then they will go in their own programs. So it was very lonely until slowly, I started to know people.
What does the day-to-day of a pastor involve at that time? What was your day-to-day activities?
The first time was just reading, trying to find out what can we do. So it was just like that, reading, praying, planning, and discussing with Ondache and Liz on what to do. Then we had also the board of outreach. It had committees, committee of evangelism, committee of outreach, missionary allocation, committee of Kibera. So I decided one day in a week I go to Kibera just to observe what they are doing. It was new, board of outreach, to have a clinic. For me it was new. How can a clinic go with outreach? Then I go there, I visit the nurse, the caretakers, slowly to know them. And in the clinic, you don't see any verse, nothing. Then I asked the staff, do you witness to them, say something? No, these people, they don't want to hear about Christ. They told me, wow, I say, I am amazed, but I just keep quiet, you see. And then I told them, do they tell you about Muhammad? I told them, oh yes, they speak about Muhammad, they told me. Wow, this is not fair, you see. Then I was going every Wednesday, I go there, I refresh my mind. Then I asked them, can we have a Bible study during lunchtime? I told them. Because my plan was, even if I cannot reach the Muslims, I must strengthen the Christians here. Because they are going to Muslimize them. And they were very willing. The nurse and the caretakers, every Thursday, we have Bible study during lunchtime. Then they started to invite people also. So our Bible study started to grow. And that was one day in a week I go to Kibera. Another time I think I would visit the offices, but most of it was reading until I started to have some kind of routine, you know. There are days I do small groups, I do this, I do this. And another thing I realized in my life is when you start to do something, at the beginning, it looks like there is no work. But if you start to do them properly, each thing can grow to itself. That's what happened. During the 7 years I was there, I realized outreach has become so big that it became too much for my mind. Because how can I think about Kwale, about Kibera, about the groups, about the missionary allocation? Many things, they became major by themselves. And for my mind, they became too much because they keep growing.
So what were some of the highlights that happened during those first 7 years?
Those first 7...
Yeah, some of the highlights. You've mentioned Kwale. How did that start?
Those 14, they are 14.
The 14
the years
years.
with Rongai, 4 years in Rongai and 10 in Gongro.
Yeah, 10 in Gongo.
You know, then my office was changed downstairs. And I started to receive many letters. Another good of Baptist is Reverend Kichinga, when he receives letters, and if he thinks it's for children, he will send it there. If it is for outreach, he send it to me. So I was getting so many letters, requests, because they see Nairobi Baptist as a big church, and the Reverend Kichinga, he would send them to me. So I get letters. In some area there is drought. In some area there is famine. There is something. And so I was confused to get many letters from different places. We would do what we can. I take them to the missionary allocation committee, which they decide something and we give it that way. The system was there to help me. But then one day I thought, why should we wait just to respond? As Nairobi Baptist, we must pray and we must adopt an unreached people group in Kenya. Because we had agreed Jerusalem, Judea, Samaria, and the end of the earth. Jerusalem was Nairobi Baptist and wherever we live. Judea was Kibera. Samaria was somewhere within Kenya. The end of the earth was outside of Kenya. So, but it was not identified. In the committee, we have been praying and discussing these things. And when I told them, why don't we do research and find out the unreached people group in Kenya? And I think it is everywhere. When you give some ideas, the good people, they will tell you, do that one. So they told me, why don't you do the research and bring it? And I did the research. Daystar had done research. They had done one, I don't know, and one 10 years ago about Kenya. And I was amazed because in 10 years, there was no much difference. Most of those people that were unreached in the first report, they were still also unreached in the second report. And I was amazed. They were 20, I think, at that time. So I brought the 20 list and a brief description of each one of them, where they are, like that. And the committee, they say 20 is too much. Then we agreed to prayerfully reduce them to 15. 5. We reduced them to 5. Then we involved even the church to reduce them, I don't know, to 3 or something like that. The church was involved with a brochure. And then I think it was into 2, I think. It was Kenyan Asians and the Digo. They were selected. Not by Pastor Gebre, but by the data that we had and the prayers that we were doing, we selected the 2. Okay, it was not announced like in a big banner like that, but the church was informed that from now on, we are going to focus on the Kenyan Asians and the Digo. At that time, we had only paperwork. We know the Asians, they live all over Kenya. We know the Digo, they live in Mombasa area. By paperwork, we are not. Also, another thing that made me to go that direction, I studied the missions that were happening in Baptist before me. They all were going to where Nairobi Baptist members are there. They will go either to Kakamega, they will go either to Machakos. They need a contact person on that area to go. So these unreached people, they have no chance. There is no one here to speak for them. That's why it took me to go through through that document. And when the two were selected, we started to pray. Still, we said we cannot start with two, and we started with one. And I must say here also, I had a very good committed committee. You know, they were part-time, but they were more involved than me. You know, if you, I know some members in a committee, they are present only during the committee meetings. Once they go, they forget it for 1 month, and then when they come, you need to refresh them again. But my committee, they were not like that. They were in it, and even when we meet another time, we are all on the same wavelength. So we had to decide which of these two. And I remember we agreed, all of us, we start with the Kenyan Asians. So we started with the Kenyan Asians. Now I started to find out who is doing ministry with the Kenyan Asians. And I found there was an organization that is supported by missionary allocation. It is a ministry working with Kenyan Asians. So I tried to meet the director, and I tried to invite them, try to know what they are doing. We even gave them a service on Bethel when we were there. They sang, they preached, they are aggressive. They are not, in Baptist, you cannot take the offering, but they almost wanted to take the offering. In Baptist, you cannot do that. They were told outside, you can have someone to collect funds, someone of you. They did like that. And when I started to approach them, this leader, he was so aggressive, he wanted to help me organize a mission to India. Wow, I said, with this one now, I cannot match. He's so fast. And me, I'm just starting. I don't know where the Kenyan, me, I think in Kenyan Asians, but him, even the day he preached, he humbled the Kenyans, you know. We were here before you came here, something like that. He's very aggressive. I heard now he had gone to Canada. So I said, with this one, I can't. So we shifted to the Digo. The committee agreed also. When I told them, afterwards, his board was being reformed, the one for Kenyan Asians. And Mark does not support any organization that does not have a functional board. So when I found out they were reorganizing it, then the MAC committee, they wrote him a letter. We heard that your board is being reformed, so immediately after it is reformed, inform us. Until then, we have stopped supporting you. So Kenyan Asians, it died there. Then we started to think about the Digo. We made a trip to find out who will tell us what is there. And we found someone with a word of life. And he introduced us with some pastors. And we visited them, and they allowed us to preach in some churches. I don't know how many of us we were there, but we were divided into different churches to preach. But we had agreed to ask how many Digos are there in that church. When we came back, there is no Digo in the churches. They are in Digo land, there is no Digo. They are all people from upcountry. And then we challenged the pastors. What is the problem? You are in Digo land and there is no Digo. And those pastors also were very honest. They told us, you are the third group asking us this question. We don't know what to do. Because when we witness to a Digo and comes to the Lord, our budget goes down. But if we witness and an upcountry person comes to the Lord, our budget goes up. They were honest, they told us. And when we explained it, they told us, if a Digo accepts Christ, he will be persecuted, then we need to feed him, we need to shelter him, we need to do all those things. So we are afraid. We don't even think to touch that. But it is not right, they told. So what can we do, we asked them. They told us, give us training on how to evangelize Muslims. So we organized one, and we told as many pastors could come. But the way we planned it was like the Africa Evangelistic Enterprise do it. I had participated in Migori like that. The missionaries are hosted by the believers. We eat together in the church. So I have learned from several missions like that. I told them, I'm coming with 15 people, but you need to host us. The elders, they need to be willing to host us. Then food will be prepared in the church, and each one that comes will pay for his food. We also will pay for the food. There were 60 people registered. We came material for 60 people, even a trainer about Muslim evangelism. Then when we reached there are 15 only. Yeah, but we continued with the 15, but I was amazed. Why? Then Pastor Kalama is our contact pastor. He told me, Pastor Gebre, this kind of training is new, he told me. Usually, we have trainings in beach hotels, and everything is provided. The food, the transport, and everything. But this one, you provide your own transport to the venue. You pay for the food. So many people, they drop the last minute. So my guess is because it is different from the previous ones. Then when I asked him, how many of those kind do you conduct in a year? 2 or 3, he said. Oh, so who does not come for a training in a beach hotel, And they can tell you we have been blessed and like that. You come happy when you go back. But we stayed there, and I was hosted in one of the elders' house. He told me, your team is different, he told me. They stayed there 1 week, but not even 1 day they went to the beach, he said. The others, he said, they have half day training, half day they go to the beach, he said. So he told me, your people are different. Even the young people, they did not go to the beach, he said. That's when I learned. When you go for ministry, you must go for ministry. When you go for holiday, you go for holiday. When you mix both of them, you spoil the game, you see. And we did not take pictures, anything, because I had also some information. These people, they take pictures to raise some money. So the elder, he brought his own camera, and he took some pictures for us, just for remembrance. But so it was a very good mission.
There was the Kwale mission, there was the Kibera. Which other things did they start at that time?
This one now, I am telling you the way we entered the Digo land. We did not enter Kwale at that time. We realized that the concentration is more in Kwale, the Digo people. So this one happened, I think, when I was on leave, I think, or sabbatical. When Pastor Weru took over, he took the medical team and they went to Kwale, and the doctors, they saw a lot of people with jiggers there. So next year they came with the jiggers project, something like that. So that's how the people of Kwale, not the churches now, the people of Kwale, they appreciated what Nairobi Baptist was doing. And maybe I go back again. When I was going on sabbatical, I was asked, are you going to come back? I told them, yes, I'm going to come back. I don't think I have finished what I am doing. But when I come back, I told them, I don't want to come back in the board of outreach. And they said, why? Because it has become so wide now, my mind cannot comprehend. I can't think about Kibera, Kwale, group, all this became too much. Me, I want to focus on discipleship, I told them. Then they told me, okay, you go now. When you come, we'll discuss. So Weru was there, and he took off with the Jiggers project. Then I think again, they went with the football, I think. So the news of Nairobi Baptist in Kwale, it reaches the DO. The DO came one time when they were doing the Jiggers project. He came and he talked to them, oh, you guys, you are doing very good job. But why don't you put a clinic here and my people will have continuous treatment? And I think they asked him, can you give us land? He said, I will give you land. I think that report came back to Baptist, and even the elders could not believe it. They say, this person is going to trick us. After we build it, he will take it. Let him make the title deed for Nairobi Baptist Church. He did it. And he was Muslim, that person. He did the deed. And at that time, I heard there were some people that wanted to reach the Digo. And they were praying for the Digo. I think some of them, they were in the UK. Others were in the US. So they connected. And I think that's how the Kwale thing took off. So the church one, I think, did not go very deep. But the clinic one, it really showed that Christians, they can do good things. And then I think somebody went into the school, all those things. But the Kibera one, that Bible study, started to grow. And when I left it, they decided to change it to a church. Me, I did not have a plan to start another church in Kibera because I know there are so many churches. My plan was like to help the pastors to make the churches proper churches. But after me, other people they took, and the Bible study started to grow. And I think the demand came from the members. They wanted a church, they wanted a pastor, so they started it that way.